Video game play and well-being among a first episode psychosis population. Recently, increasing attention has been paid by researchers to how video games are used by players during times of stress or in difficult circumstances. Researchers have begun investigating motivations for play, how players engage, and the impacts of play at such times. These questions have been asked with respect to unspecified stresses and also with specific regard to the COVID-19 pandemic. Within the context of broader research showing a range of well-being benefits of video game play, researchers such as Yacovides and Meckler have shown that during difficult life experiences, games provide players with respite from stress, help them deal with their feelings, provide social connections, stimulate personal growth, and even provide a lifeline in times of existential doubt. To date, the majority of research on the use of video games as a way to deal with life stresses and self-manage well-being has been conducted with participants drawn from non-clinical populations. Relatively little research has looked specifically at how video games are used for self-care among populations with serious mental illness. As recent work has suggested that gaming's benefits might be attenuated for vulnerable populations, such as marginalised players or those going through a period of enforced social isolation, we aim to explore whether digital gaming behaviour is a positive coping strategy that benefits well-being among a sample of participants experiencing their first episode of psychosis. Psychosis is a mental illness characterised by the loss of a sense of reality that can present with a range of symptoms including delusions, hallucinations, disorganised thinking and speech, issues with motor behaviour, diminished emotional expression, avolition, anhedonia, and a lack of interest in social activities. To inform our analysis of gaming among a first episode psychosis population, we draw on existing research including self-determination theory, organismic integration theory, and the dualistic model of passion. We were specifically interested in exploring whether obsessive passion for video game play would emerge as a compensatory response to a lack of need satisfaction in other areas among the first episode psychosis sample, a pattern often shown in studies of non-clinical samples. This pattern refers to situations in which people experiencing a lack of need satisfaction in other areas of life are more likely to develop an obsessive passion for video games, which often results in negative impacts on well-being. In addition, we explored a range of other research questions. Firstly, whether people experiencing their first episode of psychosis differ in their overall well-being and support, depending on whether or not they play video games. Secondly, whether the motivations to play and player experiences of the first episode psychosis group differ from those of the control group. And thirdly, whether previously established pathways of gaming's impact on well-being attenuate among gamers with first episode psychosis compared to the control group. We conducted a single time point survey with 88 people experiencing their first episode of psychosis. Of these, 57 reported playing video games and 31 did not. We also collected data from a control group of 61 university undergraduate students. Together, our results suggest the following findings. Among a sample experiencing first episode psychosis, gamers experienced less psychological distress and reported lower depression than those who did not play games. Gamers experiencing first episode psychosis reported lower need satisfaction from gaming and lower harmonious passions for gaming than a control group of gamers. However, there was no difference in reported obsessive passion for games. Regarding motivations for video game play, compared to the control group, gamers experiencing first episode psychosis reported higher external types of motivation, that is, introjected regulation and amotivation, and lower internal types of motivation, that is, intrinsic motivation and identified regulation. Looking to the established model in which need satisfaction influences passion, which in turn influences well-being, we compared the control group to the first episode psychosis group. For both harmonious and obsessive passion orientation, the influence of passion on psychological distress was twice as strong for the control group of gamers than for gamers experiencing first episode psychosis. In other words, in terms of both harmful and beneficial effects, passion for gaming may be less influential among participants experiencing first episode psychosis than among a control group. With respect to populations that are undergoing significant stress or a major life event, such as our first episode psychosis sample, our findings suggest that video games play a less important role in terms of well-being outcomes than they do for those not currently undergoing significant stress. However, encouraging someone experiencing first episode psychosis to stop playing video games might effectively place them at greater risk by removing a key source of well-being. Our paper further explores the implications of these findings, as well as acknowledging some key limitations of our study related to our cross-sectional data and differing timeframes of data collection with our two samples. We wish to sincerely thank our participants for their involvement in the study.